to talk about our relationship with God. And for each of us, we have at least available to us, a personal relationship with God. The Bible talks about it. Every holy book you have talks about this personal relationship. We acquire that relationship simply by beginning to want it, and then we have to learn how to trust it. And that's how we have a relationship with God. We've got to want it, and then we, little by little, learn to trust that relationship somehow or another. There's no technology, there's no invocation, there's no esoteric spiritual practice involved. Now, we can do those things, but it's not a necessary thing. All that is required is that you have the authentic desire to have a relationship with God, to have a friendship with God. The Bible tells us that in the Old and in the New Testament. Now, when we think about Jesus' teachings, they were very simple, but they required all of your attention. They required all of your energy, all of your commitment, and they required focus. Treat all people well. We all know how to do that. I mean, we all heard that. But to do it requires effort. Because sometimes we don't want to treat some people well, especially the ones we don't like. Jesus taught to love everybody. Well, it's real easy to love people that love you. Where the trial comes in is loving people that don't love you, the ones that hurt you, the ones that do things to you. That doesn't mean that you allow them to do it over and over again.
Right.
He just said, love them. And let it go and move on. To intend to be equal with each person, the intent to be equal with each person is a revolutionary idea that started with Jesus, according to the documents that we have. Jesus taught to be equal. He showed us he was equal. He washed the feet of his servants, or of his disciples. That's what servants did. They washed their feet of their masters. He did things. When he spoke to children, you never see a picture of Jesus speaking to a child this way. You always see him kneeling to be equal, eye level with a child. That's great symbolism, and it's something that we need to understand. To be equal, you never stand above. God will not force himself on anybody. It states very clearly that you have to open the door. You knock. You invite God into your life. And our relationship with God is voluntary. And it must be initiated by each person individually. God is the energy, the essence of God is. We are the ones that make the decision. Who are we going to serve today? Are we going to serve the creative force, or are we going to serve the destructive force? We make a choice. When we make a choice to serve the creative force by staying on track, by doing the next right thing right to the best of our ability, then we're serving God. And that's who we're making our master for the day. And you make this choice continuously throughout the day by the choices you make. God is as close as you will let him be, and God will be to you exactly what you let him be. There's a song out there that God will be to you exactly what you let him be. The first time I heard that statement, this is such a great lesson. Donna and I were invited to go to a church that was having some big celebration on the south side. It was an Afro-American church. And in order to get there, we had to wait for a drug deal to go down.
It was a ghetto area.
In the middle of the street.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were white knuckling. We were the only white girls there. in the area. And we finally get to the church, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, here I am, and what was they doing? You know, they had picked, the reason why they wanted us to go was one of their parishioners come to me for readings, and she wanted something to give to the church, so I took her down into the basement, and she picked this old picture of Jesus, a big picture of Jesus, and that's what she wanted for her church. And I said, well, if that's what you want, you can have it. So she takes this old picture that we had down in the basement. That was her golden gift to the church, and that's why we were invited, because of the tremendous gift that they got from our church to them. And so we're sitting there, and you know, the black people's music can go on and on and on, and it's like, oh my God, it's like it's rounds and rounds. And then the minister got up, and he started talking, and he blew me away. The teachings that this man had were so practical, so simple for his people, that I walked out of that church with a whole different attitude. Talk about thinking you're better than somebody. Talk about, you know, oh, what is this going to do? And we're here because, you know, I was stunned. And one of his teachings that he kept, the theme of his thing was, God will be exactly to you what you let him be. And that for whatever reason just seems so profound to me. We all must learn from our experiences. The reason we learn from our experiences is so we can go to another experience. I'm here to tell you, if you don't learn from your experience, it'll come back again. It'll have a different name, it'll have a different face, it may even have a different subject line. But the emotional process that you are going through, disguised by all these things, are going to be the same. And each time you go through the same experience, it hurts worse, it levels you more, and it's an uphill battle until you break. That's how it works. So we're going to grow. We're either going to do it the easy way, or we're going to do it the hard way. Most of us choose the harder way, at least at first. I'm 64 years old. I still choose the hard way a lot of the times, but I'm getting better at it, just like everybody else is getting better at it. Experience is the great teacher that God uses when all else fails. God's intentions are only to bless and uplift you. That is the intentions of God. But the only tools that God has is He touches us. He gives us a feeling like, I know I shouldn't do that. I'm probably going to get caught. Or if I do that, it's not right. I'll hurt somebody if they find out. Or I should go get gas tonight, only to find out tomorrow morning there's a huge snowstorm, and now it's really difficult to get gas because everybody else is. Those are the feelings. It's kind of the things that get implanted in our mind. There is not a person in jail, I believe, that would not tell you, I knew I should not have tried stealing that. I knew I shouldn't have stole that car. How did you know that? I don't know. Something told me. Well, guess who something is? It's God. It's God talking to you. It's very subtle and it's very continuous. But if that doesn't work, then he uses words. Like mom telling you what to do, dad telling you what to do. You know, those people that don't know much. You know, he'll use people to help you. He'll put people in your life. The problem with words is that we screw them up. I had a man that came to church one time, and when he left, I'm usually in the back to say goodbye to everybody, and he said to me, Mahela, he said, that part about the potato was so good. Donna's just looking at me like, what? And now, I rarely cook. Could you imagine me talking about planting potatoes? I don't even know how to plant a potato. I don't know if they're a tree or if they're a vine or if they just grow out of the ground somewhere. I don't know. But that's what he heard. Words are not God's first choice. And then when nothing else works, when nothing else works. He relies on experience. He tries to touch you. He tries to give you words. And then he lets you have the experience. Okay, you're going to need me a lot sooner than I'll need you. And off you go, getting your experience. We are not our bodies. Our body is designed to be born, and our body is designed to die. Our body is a machine, and it's here for a little while. The spirit in us is who we are. That's what animates the body. If you didn't have a spirit in you, your body would just be meat and flesh and bones. And so we have cycles. Our body is designed to be born and die, and we are not our body. Our essential self is not born, nor does it die. Our spirit is. Think about when you were a kid. Did you think you were little? Think about now. Do you feel like you're in your 80s and 90s? Do you feel like you're in the 70s? You don't think of yourself. It's your spirit. Your spirit is. The body might feel like it can, the spirit's willing, the body's not. But your spirit is. It doesn't get old. It's not young. It is. And somehow or another, we have to start understanding that and believing that to live our life to the fullest. Our spirit lives without limitations. Our body has limitations, but our spirit has none. There's no form that can contain God or our essential self. The spirit is not a form. The spirit is. And you can't contain that. It is always a matter of our thoughts that we choose to walk with God or we choose to walk away from God. That is your choice. And I don't mean when you walk with God that you have to be this holy person and thump the Bible and turn into a Jehovah's Witness or something. I don't know. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about making good choices for yourself. And if you find that you're making a choice that maybe isn't that good, to be ready to correct it. Be flexible. Start walking another path. There's always consequences for every single choice you make. If you make a good choice, there's a good consequence. If you make a bad choice, it's a poor consequence. If we want to be like Jesus, if we want to walk his path, then we have to learn to think like Jesus. We can't control people, places, and things, but most of us don't know what we can control. We control our thoughts. Well, we don't do that very well. But that's the whole idea, is to control our thoughts. And when we control our thoughts, then we're able to produce a life more effective, because everything follows what we think. We need to place our thoughts in Jesus' hands. Then he will reveal to us if it's helpful or not. That's how it works. We need to place our thoughts in Jesus' hand, and then he'll impress on us one way or another. And that's how it all works. So remember, no matter what your problem, God is still the answer. And if you trust in your Heavenly Father, he'll never let you down. God bless you.